artist here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And tell us more about your group. Introduce yourselves first of all.
I'm Yankee.
I'm RJ.
DJ Couch.
Jizlo.
I'm Jizlo.
My GG.
Okay. And how did you guys get together? How did you guys get started?
This has actually been something that we have not just started, but we've been at for maybe close to about 15 years now. Okay. We started off in the Bahamas in 1997. We were actually just had started recording, just came out of high school and started doing music. And myself and Yankee, we had kind of defected from another label. We had become really close, known him before. We were working with the label that we were with before. And when we kind of broke off, we decided to get together and start to just do our own thing. We decided on the name LOJ. At that time, it was just us two. Okay. And that was the beginning of the history there. And as the years went by, we started to pull in a lot of other guys that came along with us. DJ Frost, the guy that heads up our production and the videos and everything, the technical side of what we do. Former artists also, DJ Frost. A lot of other groups that are not here and are represented now. We actually, like I said, started a music label that's locally right there in the Bahamas where we're originally from.
Okay.
And then it kind of expanded. We started to work. We started to work with a lot of other artists. That's from different parts in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Jamaica, Bermuda, Belize, St. Lucia. We kind of just broadened out and expanded what we were doing. And that's where it all started. And some of us do reside here in Florida now, and we're kind of just making our waves and steps right here.
Now, you guys have a very contemporary sound.
Yeah.
There's hip-hop involved in that. There's, roots and culture, rockers type of music, but it's a gospel sound. Why gospel?
Well, the thing is it's more gospel in the sense of good news, but not in terms of the genre in itself. We chose to sing about the life that we live. I mean, in most areas of the other side of the what we say secular side of the contemporaries, of our other contemporaries in terms of rap and reggae and stuff. A lot of people just sing about what they live, about what they experience every day. Some of us grew up in church. Some of us don't. Some of us have experienced the same things that everybody else has experienced, but we came in contact with Christ and changing our lives. We wanted to be able to tell people about our experience. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find every artist that sings about drug dealing. You're not just the same way as you're not going to find every artist that, sings about having sex and different stuff like that. You know what I mean? Everybody has a different experience. This is ours. And we want to share it just like everybody else shares their view on life and it is. You know what I'm saying?
And then being where we're from too, like in the Bahamas, you have that almost exact balance of mix between every genre being popular, especially in our era. Like when we were coming up, rap was just as popular in the Bahamas as reggae was. So you get the effects of both genres of the music. So that's why you're able to have, like artists who from the same place, but yet they're more lean towards that particular genre. So that's why in the group warehouses so much different talents from so many different facets of music.
Okay. And who is the youngest amongst you all? That would be you. What has this journey been like for you as a young man?
It is. I started off very shy, very soft spoken to myself, but the journey has allowed me to have more boldness, more confidence in myself, and you're able to share what you're going through with your brothers and even with people through your music.
Okay. So tell me something. When you look at the music today, whether secular, as we put it, or the genre of gospel. How do you see that now in terms of what you guys are trying to put out there in the world and what you see is already out there?
Well, I think our contribution to it is more of everything needs a balance. Right. And life in itself, there's a balance to life. And I think those lines the scales have been tipped on the negative side of it, because you have so many people that are trying to do the same thing, and they don't realize the effects of it, because there's a lot of money involved, and for some it's not just about the money, some is just about being seen, it's just about being on the popular side, but the effects of it, and I feel like we bring that balance with helping people to realize that there's a consequence, regardless. I mean, just in life, you go out, you could party and have a good time and get drunk and do all of that, and but after all that is done, you still gotta live your life. There's some consequences from what you did the night before. Some young girls are growing up right now, and their values are just partying, drinking, having sex, and this and that, whatever. But they reach a certain age where they live to regret what they did, 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying, or 7 years prior. When we're here now, trying to bring that balance to a higher level of consciousness, for you to understand now, before you make those decisions, that hey, if you do that, this can possibly happen. Why not try to take this route? Because sometimes people do what's in front of them because they don't have something else, that it doesn't give them another decision or another choice to make. You know what I'm saying? So we're that alternative. We're kind of almost, so to speak, the voice of reason in music, and our music is a balance on that. A lot of people sing about getting money, this and that, or whatever. There's nothing wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
hold on a second. Can you pan out that camera so you can get all of them?
Well, I was doing that with this.
Okay.
You'll be straight.
So it's nothing wrong with making money. You want people to make money, but you want people to understand there's a right way to make money, and there's a way that you can keep the money that you make by not throwing it up in the club every night.
And speaking of that, I mean, what would you say all of you have done, whether individually as a group, to help maybe some of the younger people within the community, particularly young men?
Right. Well, we have in the Bahamas and even the different countries that we travel to, but in the Bahamas mainly because that's our home base where we come from. We have had set up mentorship programs for young people, not just young guys, but young females also. For years, we've helped with the inner city projects in terms of school equipment and different stuff like that, helping kids to realize the importance of getting an education, and especially the ones that can't afford it. We've been having an adoption parenting program, whereas we would adopt certain kids and we take care of them for the year, their schooling, their food, this and that, and the next thing, and helping them to see that this is coming from a positive entity. This is coming from an entity that really cares, and we give them our testimony of what we've been through. I could have been just like some of the guys you see going to jail and doing this and that, or whatever the case may be. I could be some of the guys that could sell you drugs and whatever the case may be, but I decided to take another path in life, and it has brought me to a certain level of success where I'm able to be here to give back to you. There's some of the programs that we have set up, and then when we travel to do events in different countries, we frequently visit either juvenile centers or adult prisons and stuff like that. We sing, but we also share with them the importance of just being men in society, why being a man in itself is just needed in the day and life we live in it. Our sons are growing up without fathers, our daughters are growing up without fathers, and then they're continuing the cycle. And no matter how far it has gone, it could stop here today as long as you're still alive, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Now, you all are a bit of an anomaly, because as young black males, especially from the Caribbean,
right,
this doesn't exist, So, I mean, it's nice to hear and to see that it does exist and to show the world that it does exist. I want to hear from each one of you, who has been your inspiration to lead you to where you are right now?
Well, one, definitely my father himself was an inspiration to me. He's made a lot of mistakes in his life. He comes from a background where he came from the streets. He did drugs and a lot of different stuff, but he was there for his family, regardless of the mistakes that he made. He wasn't perfect in any right, and even if someone can inspire you by them just not giving up, and just to see him go through all the trials that he went through, as hard as it was, and I can tell you, I grew up not really respecting my father because of the things that he did wrong. But when I became a man, my respect for him grew because I understood the struggle that he really went through and how hard it was for him to just stay in the game, because he could have bailed out like a lot of my friends' fathers that I've seen, but he stuck in there, and that's been an inspiration to me. My older brother, he took me in a time when I needed direction in my life, and he was a youth leader, and he did a lot of stuff that I'm doing now with young people. And when I was young, I never understood why he was so hard on me, why he continued to press me into things that he felt that I needed to know, that I needed to take into my adult life with me. And those things have never left me. And I could say that, he is a lot of why I am what I am today. And so my older brother, Mark Gardner, is definitely one of the biggest inspirations in my life, and he's the one that led me to Christ.
Okay. What about you?
For me, basically, family, most like every other, because that's where you come from. That's where you see most of everything coming up with my family. But for the most part, my big brother, Mr. Grant, Mr. Grant, him, because coming from where I came from, my family not really believing in myself, not having much confidence, and then coming from some might say a broken home, I guess. My dad struggled with certain things. Coming from that environment and then finding something in someone that someone that believes in me, and made me feel like, you know what, you could do this, you could do better, you could be this, you could be that. And even before him passing, setting up a position for me to be around Monty and to further grow and be around all the guys, that has definitely kept me on the path to I got to do better. Right. Because it got to be something in me that he saw to put me in a position to say, hey, you could do this. I'm up to this day, I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it is that you see in me. Right. Sometimes I don't see it, but that's a part of the journey. Right. Growth, and
we're all looking for that.
That's a part of the journey, trying to figure out, exactly who I am, and trying to be exactly who I was called to be. Right. You know what I mean? So that definitely.
Just to clear that up, the guy that he's talking about, Mr. Gray, is one of my other brothers that passed away.
Right.
Okay.
But he brought him into,
Yeah. Okay.
So that keeps me on my toes in the journey to, betterment.
Okay.
My biggest inspiration has to be, I guess, Monty, because he came. He's actually my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came to our family. We came to a family that were in shambles and broken home and stuff like that. So him coming to our family brought a new light to me. Mm-hmm. Something that I'm a seeker. So I seek things, and if there's something positive around or something negative, I can be drawn to either one. So.
No, we've seen this.
So
that's true.
I'm glad that it was a positive side. I'm inspired by a lot of error that went on in my family. A lot of things that I saw that shouldn't happen. It made me see those things and try to learn from those things and be a better person, be a better man and an individual in life. So a lot of that things were big inspirations to me.
Okay.
I would assume that for the most part it would be similar to the other guys. Like family would be the number one inspiration, because that's your support system. Like that's who's gonna support you in whatever decision you make. So for me, my biggest inspiration was family, but out of the family, I'd have to say that my older brother Dexter was the number one inspiration, because he was the one that I was able to see a young man go with minimal education, to lead one of the biggest youth efforts back in the Bahamas in that time, and for him to do that, for me to see him do that, it just inspired me. And quite similar to Monty, he's the one that led me to Christ. You know, he showed me and pointed me in that direction, and I think that's why we so adamantly try to mimic that same thing, because we're a result of somebody doing the same thing, taking the time to pour into us and causing us to be successful and to go ahead and go further. We just want to make sure that we duplicate that same process, you know, help somebody else to make it to another stage in their life, or to redirect them from where they're at. And I think that's why the dynamic works so well, because, like, for the most part, you hear it through all the guys, family was the biggest thing. So that's how we're able to operate as a family, because that's what works for us.
Okay. And I must admit, I've listened to your plea rhythm mix, and I am a fan. I am a fan. You know, who was your musical inspiration?
I've had a number. Because I mean, in different parts of your life, different people are going to inspire you musically. But originally, you know, I was drawn to reggae music by the likes of Garnet Sub. Well, truly because I grew up in a Christian home, and that's really the only reggae that my mother would like.
That's it, no more.
Yeah, because I could convince my mom that he was a Christian. I know that he wasn't, but because of his lyrics, you know, he used a lot of stuff out of the Bible.
Yeah.
Now, I like Bob Marley too, but my parents already knew Bob Marley. I know he was, so they wouldn't allow me to listen to it. But Garnet said, because I could listen to his music all the time, I really I love his music. I love the way he chose to deliver the message, you know, that he had. And then, you know, being current and delivering the word of God, because a lot of his songs was straight out of the Bible, and you know, and then a lot of his songs were just inspirational in nature, and then social commentary, and being able to deliver that with so much power and passion, it inspired me. And then just with the styles, Buju, Terra Fabulous, Beanie Man was some of my early, you know, favorites as a kid. Loving their music, and the way they DJ and they hear them on a rhythm was just like, you know, it just made me want to go after it. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Man, and so that's where it all started for me. And then I had Layla influences in a lot of my music. Barry Salmon also was one of the things that I love. And then, like, you know, now within the past, I would say maybe that was years ago, and then like now some of the current artists, you know, that I like to listen to from time to time. I like their music and their style. Tyrus Riley, I appreciate his music. I think that he's a great musician, a great artist. You know what I'm saying? And Jack Harris also, I think that he makes good music, and I like to hear good quality, you know, sounding music. Conscious is another artist that makes really good music. Busy Signal also, you know. Like I say, sometimes the message in the music is not as strong as I would like. Right. It's not really my cup of tea all the time. But in terms of their musical character and skill and prowess, are things as a musician from a musician or artist from an artist that I can appreciate. You know what I mean? So those people, Assassin, you know, those guys, I like the way that they do what they do. And then there are a number of hip hop artists that I've been inspired by too. You know, just Tupac, because of what he stood for in terms of what he was able to do. His mind and his heart was strong enough to believe whatever he believed, and that he could take it to the masses. Right. I appreciate that, because I have the same mindset in terms of I believe what I believe. He believed whatever he was into, this thug life thing, that was something that he believed in himself, and he made everybody else embrace it. People who ain't even thugs or live that lifestyle, you hear them say thug life. Right. And that shows a person determined to say that I'm going to make my mark on the world. And that's the same mindset that I have. So I can appreciate the mentality of what he was doing. It's almost like every superhero has a respect for the villain, because they both are kind of after the same thing on different sides, but they do have respect for each other in that right because they're good at what they do regardless of what it is. And so I'm just explaining that because I don't want to confuse anybody because, of the message that we have. People might think, oh, why do you like that guy or why do you whatever, but at the end of the day is I have respect for
You can respect his musical prowess.
I respect.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So just for the viewers who may be watching and listening.
So why is gospel like that?
Right.
Like rock music, but you know what? There's a message in everything we do, and I mean, regardless of what his overall musical ability was or what his overall musical tone was, when you listen to even some of his interviews, when it came to young people and when it came to the mentality of what was going on with them, the message was very similar. You know, it's about teaching pride. It's about teaching respect for oneself. It's about teaching all of these things. He was a very bright young man,
definitely.
you know, and in regards to how he might have lived his life, you know, there were a lot of things that were very similar to what you all are saying now. So I can understand where you would say, I was drawn to his message or his music.
Yeah.
Maybe not so far his lifestyle, but you can respect his message and his music.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, as young men yourself, and I know you guys can be doing so much other stuff out there, and you know, our audience can attest to this as well. You have two older gentlemen that have taken you on as little brothers and have really looked out for you guys. What do you tell young people that may be swaying one way or the other, you know, to right or wrong? How do you get them into the right path? What would your advice be to them?
Money doesn't bring you happiness, because you're going to be sad, because mostly the young kids today, the only thing they're concerned about is money and women.
Right.
And if you think a woman is going to make you happy or keep you happy, that's not gonna last long. If you think the money's going to keep you happy, that's not going to last long. But to find true joy and true happiness, you know, by living for Christ, you know, but to make them understand that, to make anybody understand any of that, your life has to be an example and a light. You know, you have to shine your light so people can understand, or so people can know why, you know, why is things. We can live in a big house, but we don't have to sell drugs. You know, we work hard and we take our time. We don't have 10 women. We have one woman, like the Lord has required you to have. You know, one woman, and you know, it's just simple. Sorry.
I would say association breeds similarity. You are you hang out with, you are who you're around. And that is a test. Like you said, we have bigger brothers around us, guys that are around us to show us the right way, to show you right from wrong, to guide you. Now, I understand that most people might not have that, you know, right at their doorstep, but again, you hang out with. If you see something that looks extravagant, for example, drug dealers, I would have you know that there is a downside to that. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of times we look at those type of lifestyles and forget, you know, the other side of it, what may come with it, the pros and the cons. So in every situation, and even seeking to adopt something to make of yourself, you know, you have to look at the pros and the cons of everything. You know what I mean? So
just for the record, drug dealers in a recession right now.
But you know, like I said, at the end of the day, you hang out with. If you see somebody doing something that you probably don't be in a position that you probably don't want to end up with, next week, go to next week. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's basically as simple as that for me.
And for the young kids, I want them to know, drug dealers think we're cool. So you look up to them, but they look up to us.
There you go. You heard it first. So I know you guys have, you know, 2 albums out as a group, and I know that you're both not only a group, but you also are individual artists. Yes, so can you tell us, one, if you are working on a new album as a group, what it is, when it will be out, and if anybody's working on any individual projects, can you talk about that as well?
Well, just to correct you, as a group in itself, we have like a lot of albums.
Well, a lot of albums, but 2 that I've been mainly familiar with is
the ones that you just got. You're like 15 years old. So the Plead Riddims is a project we released last year. That was one of our major compilations that we released last year, and the one this year is the Team LOJ project.
Right.
And that's what we've really been working on. all year. We're pushing that album currently. Christina Alicia is one of the female artists that we work with, and she is having a really promising year, and her music is really making some waves. That's really the next project that we have that's going to be released, and we're looking for an October release for that. And then from there also, Yankee's album is basically finished. So we're working on steady trying to get a release date for that. We have a few mixtapes that are probably going to be ready for this year also. Just Lo's working on this, and TJ Cross is actually working on his mixtape also. So then we have a lot to look for, just coming up in the coming year. Some things have not gotten a release date yet because we're just testing and putting out singles, you know what I'm saying? So myself, another artist by the name of Mr. Links, and Rubenites are all projects that we're working on and we're looking forward to this year. And then another Team LOJ Volume 2 slated for, just early next year. We're steady working. We have tons of music that we're working on, and I mean, because we do the whole work stuff, we do the production, we do the videos, we do the songwriting, all of that, you know what I'm saying? So even if we're not working on our stuff, we're working on other people, so we're just constantly working, so we have a lot of stuff people have a lot of stuff to look forward to.
I'm waiting, and I can't wait to see it myself. I'm proud of what you guys have done so far, and I listened to it and I was like, man, these brothers, boy, young, they're talented. So I'm definitely interested to see what you guys have next. And I'd really like to know, lastly, if your legacy, what would you like it to be?
Well, I consider that I would want people to, remember more what I stood for. You know what I'm saying? In terms of not just outside of the music too. You know what I mean? That my music could be a mirror reflection of who I really am. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing you could sing about something, or you could preach something, but you don't have to be it. You know what I'm saying? But I think what makes it more effective is when people can see the effect that it's the words that you're speaking has had on your life. And I would want the people that have lived with me to be a testament to my music. That when I leave, that they will be able to let people know that everything that, every word that you guys held on into the music, that's what he stood for. That's what he is, because the music will be here long after we're here. And the people that may get it even after we're gone and want to know what was this guy like, I would want the people that experience me in a more, intimate way be able to say that, this guy was truly about what his message was about, and I think that would go further and transcend time and generations.
Okay, and what about the rest of you? What would you like to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Definitely you'd want your music to match what your lifestyle was, your life living. And I think that's kind of why we get a little hiccup when folks tend to say we a gospel genre, because truth be told, like we referenced to earlier, we really just write about what we live. Now, the fact that we predominantly our life our belief is a lifestyle. We believe that in Christ and Christ is King. So it automatically causes us to live that lifestyle. So when we write, it's by default that's what comes out. But that's not the only thing that comes out. We have love songs, and which is something that is extremely lacking in the in the Christian environment, in the gospel environment. And love songs without being corny, like love songs that can be looked at as such. But I think if there would ever be a legacy, I'd want it to be integrity, truth, like what they sang about, what they talked about, matched what they lived. Like it was the exact same thing. You don't have to hear the true story somewhere else. Right. So we wouldn't probably do good on an E! True Hollywood story. It would be the same thing they saw.
I hear you. All right. So this is Anika Ayana with Carib Riddims, and this has been the Lion of Judah. And I'm going to go ahead and let these gentlemen take us out. Show us what you have.
In the dark, where we shining at. Lost, we can find them back. Find us boys in the cut, where they trapping at. Same place the gangsters at. 24 all day, just like the size on the rims on the Cadillac. Choppers here, we had them clack. Now we ain't afraid of that. Christ be the king in the hood, and he coming back. He return like Batman. Satan gon' attack, man. That's why he gon' try to swing them all like a Batman. Wait for the holy day, something like a holiday where soldiers ain't gotta die no more. They ought to pray to all my haters. I ain't trying to be a faker, rising like an elevator. To Christ, I be the waiter.
Pick me up off the ground now, don't let me fall. Cause when I get up, man, I'm coming after all of y'all. Vengeance is his, I ain't gonna strike back. Stepping on Snake's head so that he don't strike back. I'm on my gorilla flow, man, so gorilla no, you can't stop me. Man, I'm on my monsoon. Cause when the clouds open up, you know he coming soon. Straight to Blu-ray, so don't look for him in theaters.
I guess I should big up 242, Freeport City. Smile again, like back in the day when we laughed our worries away. Smile again, to your heart's content, 'cause worry never paid the rent. I remember basketball rims made from milk crates. I remember signing the backboard because we'd all be great. I remember high top fades and high school days, junk and new parades designed with painted face. How could you forget Pepper Pot or even Mr. Block? Give me a chicken in the bag with ketchup all over that. I remember Queens Highway game room with my cousin Clint because he rough up this youth to try to steal my tokens back in the day.
Yo, this is Monty G, Line of Judah Sons. Anywhere they don't know, say Carib and big up yourself. Yeah. Only Christ can save us. You know, these times, so many turn to violence. On crimes, Christ Jesus never leave us. No time. Say a little prayer for me, oh Most High. Listen to me. The times have changed. Now we see no one living in unity. My people are so cold. So many of my brothers die in the streets. No more pack bags, them a pack the heat. My sisters, yes, they're selling themselves so low. 'Cause only Jah can save us. In these times, so many turn to violence. On crimes, Christ Jesus never leave us. No time. Say a little prayer for me, oh Most High. Boom.
You don't know, Carib Riddims every Thursday, 3 o'clock. Check we out.